did what was right in the sight of the Lord all the days of Jehoiada the priest. And Jehoiada took him 2 wives, and they begot sons and daughters. And it came to pass that after Joash was minded to repair the house of the Lord, and he gathered together the priests and the Levites, and said to them, Go unto the city of Judah, and gather all Israel, money to repair the house of your God from year to year, and see that ye hasted not the matter. The word of God for the people of God. Amen. You may be seated. Today I want to talk to you about a matter that I see that is prevalent in today's church. This issue is abandonment issues. Abandonment issues. This message may be short and sweet for some, but for others, you'll be able to chew on it for a while. However, you may feel you will be faced with issues in life. Some issues will overtake you and take you down to where you don't want to serve or worship God. The book of Chronicles is filled with truth and life lessons, which if you heed, it will help you and bless you in your pursuit of holiness. In this book, it focuses on the different reigns of the kings of Judah. Because of the relationship they had with God, there was some division, and there was some times they neglected the house of God. They forgot to worship the true and living God, and they went against the will of God. What are you willing to do to help clean up the issues in God's house? The king of Judah in 2 Chronicles 14th chapter. Before I can give you this subject, you got to go back and do some history. Because sometimes what happened in the past will happen in the future. So King Asa reigned for 41 years. And he broke down the different altars and the high places and the pillars and the stones which were constructed to worship idol gods. He also went so far as to remove his own mother, the queen, because she worshiped idol gods. Are you willing to do what God is calling you to do, no matter who it is that God is telling you to do? In 2 Chronicles, we're going to talk about a king that did right as long as the high priest was in his presence. As long as that priest was on earth, he obeyed and did everything what God said. But we have to obey even when no one is looking. We have to keep and hold fast to what we've already been taught. Abandonment issues. Issues where you may feel abandoned on your job. No one appreciates you. No one understands you. You're always alone. Some people even face abandonment issues in the church. They feel unworthy. They feel looked over sometimes. Abandonment issues. But do you know that sometimes these issues have a greater source? And they're working behind the scenes. In 2 Chronicles 29, verse 4, it says, And he brought in the priests and the Levites, and gathered together in the east street. And he said unto them, Hear me, ye Levites, sanctify now yourselves, and sanctify the house of the Lord of your fathers, and carry forth the filthiness out of the holy place. For our fathers have transgressed and done which was evil in the sight of the Lord, and forsaken him, and have turned away their face from the habitations of the Lord, and turned their backs. Sometimes history will repeat itself. Don't be like your fathers. Before you move back to your own self, consider what happened to your fathers. Abandonment issues. What is the issue in the house of God? The issue is sometimes we abandon our posts. We leave our work for others to do. Abandonment issues. If we hold fast to the teachings of Jesus Christ, we will be prosperous according to his word. Right. It is only then when your issues aren't as painful as they may seem, but they will bring joy to you in the end. Because the peace of God that is upon you allows you to go through every issue. When people don't understand and when they walk away, it's okay because the Spirit of God will rise up and give you a calm. No one needs a doctor if they're not sick. Right. No one needs a lawyer if there's not an issue. No one has need of prayer if there's not an issue. Today I ask that you prepare your hearts to deal with some house issues today. The issue is sin must be addressed. We can't continue to allow it to go unchecked. For if we do, it corrupts everything around us. Sometimes having the wrong people in power will bring a nation and a church to its knees. If you allow the wrong people in the wrong places at the right time, you will hinder blessings in your house. If you will allow yourself to be like the king that was faced with the issues he was having, he allowed a wicked woman, which was his own mother, to go behind the scenes and go against what the children of Israel was doing. She was building altars while he was praising God. And he didn't check. And he allowed her to just carry on, and she caused division in the house. She had her worshipers and her followers, and he had his people and his followers. So eventually, he had to check. And he had to tear down the worship of Baal. It's time to clean house. Before we can clean house, we must know how to clean house. They went out and put forth everything that belonged to God in its respectable places. They began to consecrate and prepare the things. They had to clean up the actual temple of the Lord. And sometimes the cleaning process is not a quick process. You must be meticulous, meaning you must move things out of the way so you can see the dust and the dirt and get it out of the way. We must be meticulous when we go to God about our issues and what it is we're going through. We must be serious because he already knows what's hidden, even if you don't know what's hidden. Sometimes when we clean in our house, we may just do a general cleaning. But sometimes we need to do a spring cleaning. Where we move the bed and we get that dirt. And we move the dresser and we get some dirt from over there. We take the pictures off the wall and we dust over here. And we dust over there. That's what needs to go on in God's house. We need to do a spring cleaning. And some people will feel as if we abandon them in this cleaning process. But if you stay on track, after the cleaning is done, then we can bring you back to your rightful place. It wasn't until everything was removed out of the temple for thorough cleaning that when it came back into it, everything was placed back in its proper place. The lamps were on their place, the showbread table was set accordingly, and the altars were set accordingly. The burnt incense were in one area, everything was back in order. It's not until we move it and we see what is going on. In Psalms, in some of our relationships, we have a tendency to have relationships with the wrong people that will cause us to move away from our position in God. If we allow ourselves to always see the good and pure evil people, we have abandoned our post for having a discerning spirit. The Spirit reveals to you the type of people, the type of places we are going. And there's something in your spirit that does not sit right. You need to obey and listen to that spirit. Don't call right wrong and wrong right. You cannot expect to be blessed if you continue to allow yourself to be hoodwinked. Abandonment issues will allow you to be hoodwinked. It will allow you to give Satan's fund the keys to your home, your heart, as well as your pocketbook. Abandonment issues will have you consulting with ungodly people about godly matters. Psalms 1st verse, the NIV version says, "How blessed is a man who does not walk in the counsel of the wicked, nor sitteth in the path of sinners, nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful. But his delight is in the law. He meditates day and night. And he will be like a tree firmly planted by streams of water." You cannot waver because it's your baby. You cannot waver because it's your mate. You cannot waver because you've known them so many years. You got to call a spade a spade. Stop surrounding yourself with people who have already proven to you, "I will abandon you. I will not be faithful to you. I have no love for you. I only want to use you." Stop loving and following people who are unfaithful. If they are unfaithful to themselves, they cannot be faithful to you. If you cannot faithfully take a bath, then you cannot faithfully become a worshiper of God. Some people go days and days and days. Don't even take care about their oneself. So how can you expect them to take care of you? Some issues are so great it runs great men and women out of the church. We have to be careful how we treat people and what we say. Amen. Proverbs 12:6 says, "The words of the wicked are to a lie, waiting for blood." That means they will lie so bad till it almost kills you. They want to destroy you with their words. But the mouth of the upright shall deliver them. God will deliver you out of every lying tongue, every contrary spirit that bucks up against your church. You are the church of God. Amen. Don't allow yourself to be a victim of abandonment. So many people are being led out of the church because we feel as if somebody had done you wrong, but simply because they corrected you. Amen. Out of love and kindness. Amen. And the wrong folk got in your ear and shot you out of the door. Amen. Stop telling people the bad that goes on in the church. Start telling folks about the goodness of the Lord. For when we walk into the church, we are the ones that corrupt the church. Our actions and our deeds. We must begin to pray, not only for our oneself, but for everyone. Everyone that is under God's anointing. Sometimes we don't see everything we need to see. We need to pray for a spirit of revealance. 1 Corinthians 13:9 says, "For we know in part and we prophesy in part." I don't claim to know it all, but I know Jesus to be a keeper. For his word says in Hebrews 13:5, "For he has said he will never leave, nor will he forsake you. He will never abandon you." When he went to the cross, he didn't go to abandon you. He said, "I must go in order to leave a comforter for you." His Holy Spirit rests upon us, so he never abandoned us. Our abandonment issues will have us making soul ties and commitment to corrupt people. Some people feel forgotten because they weren't raised by their mothers or their fathers, or their mothers or fathers have done them wrong. I'm here to tell you now, you got to begin to clean your heart of what you think somebody did to you. You have to begin to trust that whatever happened was in the will of God, being good or bad. When it's come time to clean the house, there's a saying, if you got time to clean, then you got time to clean. But I want to say to you, if you got time to lean and look mean, then you got time to clean. Because clean yourself. See, you can lie to me and live one way to me, and I can believe it. But God knows the secret things that you have done, the things that are unspoken, the things that are done in the dark. God knows the process, and sometimes some process, it moves a little quickly. With a mosquito can give birth within days, but an elephant, it takes 2 years. If you've been sinning all your days, it's going to take a process to clean out what's going on in your life.
Right.
First thing we need to do when we begin that cleanup process is we got to clean ourselves up, and now we have to rededicate ourselves once we have cleaned ourselves. See, when you realize you have messed up and things aren't going the way that you knew it should have been going, when you were on fire for God, you were faithful for God, I was on time for God. When the doors of the church opened, I think I beat the deacons or putting the key in the lock kind of service. Can we go back to that kind of dedication? Once we have rededicated ourselves and sanctified ourselves, now we can raise up a new generation of believers to follow in ourselves. I want to leave with you this right here. If you call yourself a leader and you have not tore down that abandonment spirit, that spirit that makes you be contrary to the vision, the spirit that makes you buck against the vision, that spirit that makes you talk about the vision, that spirit that allows you to learn all the gossip and never hear the truth. That spirit that makes you want to go against what you hear God say. I'm here to tell you, you're suffering from some abandonment issues. I don't know who abandoned you and who said it's time up for you. But God will never leave you nor forsake you. He's not a man that he shall lie. In this abandonment issue, I had to look at myself. I kept connecting myself with people that reminded me of my father. See, my father was a jack of all trades. Anything you need fixed, he could fix it. If he couldn't fix it, if you read it to him out of the book, he'll get it together. I remember when my father, I had an issue with my car, and he said, go to the car store, and I need you to pick up this book. Read to me what it says in there. And I went to read it to him. It didn't make sense to me. But once he heard it, he said, okay, baby girl, I'm going to go fix that. I said, Jack, what did it say? Don't worry about it. I just need this, a racket, and whatever. He pulled some parts, and he pulled the tools, and he went on and he fixed it. That was my dad. But my dad had issues. And I have to be careful who I choose to put in my life, because sometimes we can attach ourselves to familiar people. Because they remind you of the past and things you were accustomed to. See, my father was married to my mother to the day she gave up the ghost. But he wasn't always faithful. He went messed around, but he didn't let it hit the door. My mother knew, but she didn't know, because they weren't bold enough to knock on the door. My father also had an issue of drinking, and it was a bad one. And when he would begin to drink, he would abuse my mother. And that was the reason why I couldn't be with my mother and father. As a young girl, I didn't understand. We have to be careful and remember what happened in the past. Because those same abandonment issues will have you connecting with familiar people. They did the same thing to your mother and your father. They will carry you out of the will of God and cause you to put a blinder on yourself, saying it's of God, just because you found it in the house of God. Everything that enters in may not be of God. So we're going to begin to pray today that God send the real the church. But you can break every chain. You can break it. If you begin to tear down and let go of the issue. See, I had an issue with this message. And I had to let go and let God. Because I had some issues with some folks that did me wrong. That took from me. That did my children wrong. That abandoned me in my hour of need. So I didn't want to preach it. I said, can I pass the baton? And God, when I went to writing, I said, God, this is me. And if you're here today and you see it's you, don't abandon the call that is on your life. Don't abandon the ministry that is in your belly. God has allowed us to give birth to children that will upkeep his house. And I'm a witness that I see my children doing great things. He keeps his promise. You see, when I think about how good he was to me and how he shielded me from some stuff. We can't be angry at God when he doesn't allow any and everything in our life. It was for your good. It was for your good. Never went through an abusive relationship, but I've seen enough women go through it that I don't want to be in it. Never been through a situation where he decided I don't want to be married no more and he just walked away. But I know enough women that went through it. I know enough children that are in foster care. They don't know if mother or father loves them. So I made a commitment. God, you help me raise some children. When I don't want to be a mother, make me be a mother. Yes. When I don't want to be a confidant, make me a confidant. That's right. If they give me the issue, God, give me the grace to give it back to you. Some issues are not for you to carry. The burdens are not for you to carry. The issue is for you to give it over to God. Amen. Abandon it on the altar and not in your heart. Right. Take back the keys that you have given to Satan himself. Yes. Take them back. And begin to allow God to do a great work. Amen. You know, once this king cleaned up the house of God and he began to repair, you know, there was a blessing upon it. You know, there was an overflow in the house. There was so much money that he began to build and more in the kingdom. If we come back to God and begin to do what needs to be done in his house, everything will be sent to us. And I just want to pray for the body of believers that we do not abandon our post. Don't allow our discerning spirit to die out because it's a familiar face. Don't allow yourself to be taken so far out of God's grace you don't know your way back. If you're faithful, stay faithful. And if you're not, get faithful. All right. If you don't know the Lord and you don't know how to clean yourself up, there is help at the cross. There is help on the altar. At the cross, you will get everything you need. And there are great kings in this Bible. If you begin to read the Word of God, it will enlighten you. It will tell you the history of the church. That's right. And like I said, sometimes history has a tendency to repeat itself. So it was packed over there at that football game, but we're not packed today. It shows our commitment and our faithfulness. It shows us what we're willing to do. Are you willing to take down and relieve yourself of all abandonment issues, every issue that you have? Because you don't have the money, you feel like God don't love you, he abandoned you. Because you're going through a financial need, you feel like God don't love you, abandonment issues. I don't know what your issues are and how great it may affect you. But if you lay it at his feet, I know that he is able and willing to do what needs to be done. In closing, I just want to tell God thank you for helping me release the issues. The issues that were so heavy, I couldn't hold them all in a tissue. You know, you go through a box of Kleenex. So the tears people give you. Yes, Lord. Right when you needed them, they left you. I'm in the midst of a crisis and nobody else is the phone. I need a prayer warrior. Nobody's available. Yeah. I need somebody to lean on. I need somebody to drive. Just drive me to the church. I can't. My tears are so heavy I can't drive myself. Yeah, Lord. But you can't find nobody. Those kind of issues I had. But I realized that if I cry my heart.
There you go.
Who are you serving today? And what issues are you facing? Are you facing them alone? Because see, sometimes we have faced abandonment issues on our own because you abandoned Christ.
That's right.
Because you walked away.
Right.
Because you didn't believe. Because you didn't trust in God. As I take my seat, if there's anybody dealing with some issues, be it financial, be it legal, matters of the mind, matters of the heart,
Right.
we ask that you come to the altar and cleanse yourself of your issues and allow God to do a work so we can rededicate ourselves. You know, we need people that want to be faithful on their post.
That's right.
Everybody need him tonight. You just got to say these words. Listen to this.